Alright guys, welcome back into another preseason DFS video. This week we got the week 2 action starting here for you. It's going to be that Thursday night slate, the 3-game slate. A little recap of last week. I'll just touch on it. If you watch the videos, you probably did pretty well in preseason DFS. Really hit on most of our running backs that were kind of our lock plays. That was real nice. Touched on a lot of the really good receiver plays. That was good. Hit on Dallas Goedert on the Thursday night slate last week. He was kind of a lock play, him and Sudfeld, so that was real nice. Want to touch on one thing that really bothered me though last week. I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks or just kind of follow it. Antonio Callaway last week, I don't know, he's kind of been in a little bit of trouble. I don't know if you saw that storyline, but I was fading him last week because I figured that he would get punished. And Hugh Jackson came out with a quote and said playing Antonio Callaway the whole game was his punishment. So that was kind of a weird punishment, so I faded him because I thought he'd get punished and not play. Turns out Hugh Jackson has a whole different system for punishing players. He wants to reward them by playing them a full game. That kind of bummed me out, kind of made me mad because he would run a lock play for me last week, so that was kind of unfortunate. But let's get into this week. I just wanted to bring that up because, you can only predict so much with coaching, and it just makes it hard when a coach makes a weird decision like that to punish a player by playing them the whole game. You can only do so much to predict stuff. All right, but let's get into this week's slate. It should be a good one. Starting off with a really good game that I do like. It's going to be Eagles versus the Pats. Really like Wendell Smallwood. I think he'll get 7 to 10 touches total. Probably get a couple of receptions out of the backfield. Some of those running backs on that team are kind of banged up, so that's why I like Smallwood. Nate Sudfeld, I think I'm going to be going back to him, probably stacking him and Goedert again a little bit. I touched on in last week's video is that Mac McGloin, he just threw the ball a lot last preseason. I think Sudfeld's going to be more of the same. I expect him to throw the ball about 15 times. He had 2 TDs last week, and he also had 2 interceptions last week, so kind of a mixed bag of a week, but I like him again this week. Bryce Trace for the Eagles, I think he'll probably get the most targets again this week. He had 4 last week, so that's kind of more of the same. And like I said, I'm going to be going back to the Goedert. Him and Sudfeld, going to be a nice little stack. I'm getting to the Patriots side of the ball here. I think Brian Hoyer is going to be the quarterback I might play the most of in this slate. He threw the ball 23 times last week, and in preseason week 2 last year, Jimmy G threw the ball 24 times, so I think that's kind of going to be more of the same with Brian Hoyer this week. And Danny Etling, their third-string quarterback, really did not look good. He didn't play that much, so I'm going to be mostly just going with Hoyer. Devin Lucien, you saw 6 targets last week. He actually looked pretty good on his 4 catches that he had for 71 yards, so I don't mind that play. You could definitely go with him. Then I think I'm going to be playing a mixed bag of Hollister and Ryan Izzo. I think they both kind of looked good last week. Obviously, Jacob Hollister was a star for us in last year's preseason at the tight end spot, so I do not mind him. All right, let's get into the Packers versus the Steelers. Going to be starting off with quarterback Brett Hundley, mostly because I'm going to be touching on these 4 receivers a little bit below. If someone's got to throw him the ball, and I think Brett Hundley's the best quarterback out of the 3 that are probably going to be playing. He'll probably throw the ball about 12 times. You're just kind of hoping that he gets a touchdown. This is definitely more of a stacking option play more than a core play. Like I said, all these receivers here, they all saw over 6 targets. Obviously, Scantling and Kumaro were the ones that scored the touchdowns. Scantling had over 100 yards receiving. He was a really good play. I told you last week that I was going to be playing him because he has that big play upside, so that was real nice. But all these guys, they all kind of look good. They all saw their targets, so it's just a matter of them getting the receptions. I could see playing all 4 of them, honestly, in a lineup and just, stacking that game. Getting to the Steelers, though, I think I like Mason Rudolph again. He looked good last week, so I'd probably just go with him a little bit just because of Damon Patterson and James Washington. They both looked good last week. Patterson saw 10 targets last week. He had 6 receptions, 77 yards, and he had a really nice TD. James Conner, though, he's a running back I want to touch on here for you guys. In preseason week 2 last year, he saw 20 total touches. And last week, he only saw about 5 touches total, but he did look good last week. And I don't know, I just feel like they're going to try to ramp him up a little bit. He might not be the running back to target. We'll be able to see that a little bit later on in the week. I am doing this video on Tuesday, so, some news could change as the week goes on. All right, let's get into the last game of this slate. This one's going to be a little bit easier to target, I think. especially on the Jets side. But you never know with the Jets because their beat writers are garbage. I mean, there were so many inactive players that I was looking them up before game time, could not find any news on them. Only team in the NFL really that you cannot find news on. It's one of the biggest markets in the NFL. I just don't get why news stories don't come out. Is it the team holding the information in? That could be, but I think it's the beat writer's job to get that information. So, sorry about that quick rant there. Let's get into the Redskins before I touch on the Jets. The play I want to touch on the most is going to be Alex Smith. I actually think he'll be playing a lot this game. He'll probably see about 15 passing attempts, which for a starting quarterback, that should be enough to get him about 10 DK points this week. Last year, Kirk Cousins, he saw a lot of work. He played a lot of playing time last year in week 2 of the preseason. So I think they're going to try to get Alex Smith acclimated to the offense a little bit more, so he should get some more run. Obviously, we know that situation with the Redskins with their running backs. They're all kind of banged up. You go with Bibbs, P. Ryan, Marshall. I think they should all get about 6 touches. Might not be that bad. We hit on Maurice Harris last week, and I'm going to be dipping back into the well again this week. He had 11 DK points. I think we could get more of the same from that, probably 7 DK points this week. Getting to the Jets, so obviously Sam Darnold is going to be a really good play for you this week. It was a little bit lower ownership last week. I was kind of surprised. You should see another full half of work, so obviously he'll be a good look. Trenton Cannon, I think you could almost lock him in. I mean, he should be seeing a ton of carries. Isaiah Crowell is going to be out with that concussion. Elijah McGuire is already out. So I like him. He got 11 carries last week for 40 yards. He also caught 3 passes last week, so I like him again this week, kind of to do the same. Neil Sterling is kind of a tight end play. It's going to depend on some of the other tight ends in that offense if they're healthy or not. But he did see 7.8 DK points last week. All right, guys, I appreciate the view. I hope you guys have a good week this week in preseason DFS. If you do, that's because you're watching my videos. Please give me a like to subscribe. I appreciate it.